Hey guys.
Hi, I'm Emma, and a little bit about me is that I'm the secretary and treasurer of KAY. I play golf, and I like to try new things, which is why I'm here today.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I like to write, read, and research theories and just really research in general.
Again, I'm Emma,
I'm Maddie,
and this is the Midnight Theoriest podcast. Today we will talk about the Lost City of Atlantis.
We'll go over the questions of the Lost City of Atlantis, who Plato is, and the actual conspiracy, where the city is today, and our personal opinions on the matter. Atlantis was an enormous island led by Libya and Asia combined. It was supposedly populated by a race of demigods, led by powerful kings who could trace their origins to none other than Poseidon, the mighty god of the sea and ocean. Its culture was advanced.
Atlantis was protected by the god Poseidon, who made his son Atlas king and ruler of the island and the sea that surrounded it. As the Atlanteans grew powerful, their armies eventually conquered Africa as far as Egypt and Europe as far as Tyria. Atlantis' people grew greedy as they became more powerful. They continued conquering lands until being driven back by Athenian-led alliance.
As punishment for causing such a ruckus, the gods sent earthquakes and floods to the island, which ultimately led to Atlantis sinking into the sea. Plato was born 427-428 BC in Athens, Greece, and died 347-348 Athens. He is best known as the author of philosophical work of unparalleled influences. His most famous work is The Republic, which details a wise society run by philosophy.
Plato did not have children, and it is assumed based on textual evidence that he never got married. He did have many siblings, though, 4 in total. His father died when he was young, and his mother remarried with her uncle. Plato was described as being a hardworking, friendly, and easy to get along with. According to Plato, a good life involves living in harmony with one's inner nature and understanding the true nature of reality. To do this, one must overcome negative emotions such as anger and greed and embrace truth and knowledge.
Plato was the first person discovered in history to write about Atlantis, although he claimed in a book he wrote called Theoriest that he heard the story of Atlantis from his grandfather, who had heard it from an Athenian statesman Solon, who had heard it from an Egyptian priest who said it happened 9,000 years before that. Whether or not Plato believes his own story, his intent in telling it seems to have boosted his ideas of an ideal society. The Greek philosopher invented Atlantis as his vision of an ideal civilization and intended the story of its demise to be a cautionary tale of the gods punishing human hubris.
So what's the actual conspiracy?
The conspiracy for this lost city, or whether Atlantis even existed, as there's pretty much zero evidence pointing towards the story being true, and everything we know about Atlantis is from a book written in 359 BC by Plato, who is long dead. So it's understandable why people speculate about Atlantis. We don't even know where Atlantis is today. If it does exist, all that we know is that it's supposedly at the bottom of the sea. That's all the information we have about its location. Plus, the Atlantis was supposedly really advanced, but how? If they lived millions of years ago, it doesn't make sense for them to be anywhere near the kind of technology we have today. Some theories for Atlantis being so advanced are that they had aliens, or maybe the gods gave them supplies and helped them overall. Most historians and scientists throughout history have concluded that Plato's account of the lost kingdom of Atlantis was fictional, and despite modern advances in oceanography and ocean floor mapping, no trace of such a sunken civilization has ever been found. No evidence proves, besides Plato's book, that Atlantis is a real civilization.
But one person named Younger Dryas has arguments for all these claims, as he came up with the impact hypothesis. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis is a recent theory that suggests that a cometary or meteoroid body or bodies hit and/or exploded over North America 12,900 years ago, causing the YD climate episode. Extinction of Pleistocene megafauna, demise of the Clovis archaeology culture, and a range of other effects. The hypothesis proposes that the airburst or impact of a comet 12,850 years ago caused the ensuing 1,200-year-long Younger Dryas cold period and contributed to the extinction of the Pleistocene megafauna in the Western Hemisphere and the disappearance of the Clovis Paleo-Indian culture. In short, he believes that the Earth has gone through many cycles, meaning that the Earth creates life and then destroys it somehow in some way. Then it repeats itself. The physical evidence, interpreted as signatures of an impact, can even be separated into two groups. The first group consists of evidence that has been largely rejected by the scientific community and is no longer in widespread discussion, including particle tracks and archaeological charts, magnetic nodules, and Pleistocene bones, impact origin of the Carolina Bays, and elevated concentration of radioactivity, iridium, and fluorines enriched in 3He. The second group consists of evidence that has been active in recent research and discussions: carbon spheres and alligates, magnetic grains, and magnetic spherules, byproducts of catastrophic wildfire, and nanodiamonds.
Younger Dryas even thinks he knows where Atlantis is. He thinks this because the area looks exactly like how Plato described Atlantis in the books, an island larger than Asia Minor and Libya combined, and situated just beyond the Pillars of Hercules.
So what do we think? I don't believe that the Lost City of Atlantis is real. I believe this because there's no scientific evidence that it's anywhere. I think that if Atlantis was real, someone would have found it by now. Like, scientists have been searching for the city of Atlantis for like thousands of years now. And on some websites, it says that Plato has said that Atlantis is like a utopia place where people were like half human and half gods. And on another website, it says there's a book called Encyclopedia of Dubious Archaeology, and in that book it says Atlantis is not a place to be honored and humiliated at all. Atlantis is not the perfect society at all, quite the contrary. So if Atlantis was supposedly real, there wouldn't be so many different theories about it. It makes it sound just like people just made up an old city that turned to dust into something that's underwater with mermaids and mermen and this so-called utopia place.
Plato, the Greek philosopher, talked about this civilization, the ancient lost city of Atlantis, that it existed way before he was here, like 9,000 years ago, before his time. He talked about this civilization being very utopian and had great naval power. Ballard, known as Robert Ballard, who discovered the wreckage of the Titanic, believes Plato, saying that he thinks Atlantis existed based on the extreme floods and volcanic eruptions that have happened throughout history, destroying cities. The city of Pompeii, for example, was a thriving city thousands of years ago, but was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. I've searched the internet to see if any writings of Pompeii way before the eruption happened to confirm that it existed, but I didn't find anything that showed Pompeii existed. It kept showing me when it was discovered, which was in 1592, but nothing happened. It wasn't until 1709 that it was rediscovered and wasn't evacuated until 1738. See, Pompeii happened in 79 AD, meaning the ruins of Pompeii just sat there for thousands of years upon thousands of years before being discovered. What if it is the same with the lost city of Atlantis? What if it exists, we just haven't found it yet? It is said in the legend that they lived a very advanced life together in a utopian civilization, though they soon started to become very greedy and just morally wrong. So the gods saw this and became very mad since they had lost their moral ways, so they decided to punish them. The gods supposedly sent a very awful night fire with earthquakes and soon caused Atlantis to sink underwater. There is some reasoning on whether Atlantis existed. It has been said that the lost city of Atlantis might be located between Spain and Morocco in the waters of Cadiz. Archaeologists have explored some of Spain to see if Atlantis existed. They even have explored the suspicious undersea rock formation in the Bahamas.
The extent of truth in this story is a mystery in itself. Questions like, where is Atlantis, or does it even exist, is still unanswered. But until the truth beneath it can be unraveled entirely, the world will continue speculating about the existence of the greatest city of all times. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Until next time, bye!
Soundstripe.